making big issues too big. Your head got bigger than a centerpiece. You was out here picking up the phone a little bit. Yeah, I'ma tell you that ain't really God. You was like the doggy eating devil's camel's bits. Now you are welcome to the synagogue. Picked up and dripped down and go. I ain't talking about no medals, I'm talking about the metal and the still the reality that I created. Let it chill, don't get mad at me cause I'm amazing. Daffodils, just some glass to me that I be blazing. Where it's real, lots of casualties and Dodger statements. Polly's always on my ass like a baby with some shit in their pants. But now you was always getting little homie in your clothes when it's hand me down. I be only going up, never going down, nigga, I am the crowd. Life is like a marathon, shoes too big, but I nearly ran them out. Nigga, I was like fly boss, yeah, come be my little princess, tarot card emperor, and you could be my empress. Tempted, like they used to be up in the Bible. You was lost in your ego, bitch, and you being too entitled. That's right. You was out here making small pockets too big. Yeah, you was caught up in a lily pond. You was out here making big issues too big. Your head gotten bigger than a cinder block. You was out here picking up the phone a little bit. Yeah, I'ma tell you that ain't really God. You was like the doggy eating devil's camel's bits. Now you are welcome to the synagogue. I don't do no pandering, go pick your mother. When I give advice, you want a cookie cutter. Okay, if you don't believe it, it still good like butter. Harvest when it's autumn, cause you took the summer. Yolo just like Buffy, but a Krista Slayer. Feel like an outsider, like I'm Krista Slater. Cold as refrigerators, I got 60 haters. Fucking with me now, I'ma hit you later. Girl, if your pussy pink and salty like it's Himalaya, you'll be a missing flight like the shit in Malaysia. Treat this like a sport, but girl, you get them traded. Cause you ain't good for nothing, girl, but just complaining. All that shit you blame it on the next person, yo, fault. Though you getting tired, keep on going, cause it don't stop. Esoteric cracking, cause you always at the dope spot. Fuck what you know, I'ma tell you what you know. Not you was out here making small pockets too big. Yeah, you was caught up in a lily pond. You was out here making big issues too big. Your head got them bigger than a center line. You was out here picking up the phone a little bit. Yeah, I'ma tell you that ain't really God. You was like the doggy eating devil's camel's bits. Now you are welcome to the synagogue.
You was out here eating devil's kibbles bits. You was like a doggy eating devil's kibbles bits. So what's wrong with you? Flight morning, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Flight morning, live. You know, I get inspiration and stuff like that. I'm superhero on Earth now. You know what I'm saying? So you was out here eating devil's kibbles bits because you was a spiritual doggy, spiritual lap doggy. And then you was like a poodle one at that. You supposed to at least be like a wolf. You know what I'm saying? One of them big Canaanite bitch. I mean, you know what I'm saying? A male and female. Oh, y'all know this is the PBS channel. Gotta be a top. I had to do it one time. We talk about doggies. We talk about doggies, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. I had to get into it one time. This is the good golly version of it. You know what I'm saying? It could be the top bitch. Top Canaanite. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Not the Canaanite God in the little Bible. Top Canaanite canine down here at the top bitch. You know what I'm saying? We talk about doggies, YouTube. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? The rest could be PBS. It's just gotta let Uriel get one. I mixed it enough to let us know we talking about the actual term. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Thank you so much for the donation, Booty Mercury, baby, and this niggity thing. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real stuff. Flight morning, got diggity thing. I made sure that let me know strong spirits. They up, they catch the early birds and the early worms and the early birds and stuff like that, even when the birds are sleeping. When spirits up, even with the birds are sleeping, you manifest it like a higher chakra or something like that with your energy in some way, shape, or form. So the new form is going to be even better and more glorified in this form, even if it's not a bird form. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Birdman. But right now, you know, this is the solution channel. So we get ready to break down the know-how to actually get this spiritual connection. Because it could be something that I just say as a general statement, like I'm pandering, but I don't like to pander, so this is something like you kind of actually got to do. It's not really a title saying like, oh, this is what you need to look out for. You get ready to experience a spiritual connection. Man, half of the time people be watching this shit ain't even spiritual. How y'all don't get spiritual connection? You ain't spiritual. Y'all just waiting for something to fall in your lap. No, you got to do something. So that's what this is about. Well, my channel in general, the shadow work channel, not the pander channel to Beavis and Buttheads. You know what I'm saying? This is where we put in the work. And here's the thing. You could even be Beavis and Butthead, but as you putting in the internal work, anytime you put in the internal work, the Beavis and Butthead could look like secretary. So a person can't even think you Beavis and Butthead because you still in some type of circumstance where it's a mission for God, even if God needs you Beavis and Butthead. So you need to understand that too. So it's like a circumstance where it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. And you could do it demonic or you could do it angelic. And that's understanding the mechanisms I always be breaking down and stuff like that. So don't get it messed up like when you hear people like me say, do something, and you see all the things I'm doing, or you see things the shadow government doing or people in the world doing, that means you got to get up and take action, where there's a lot of actions that can be taken in your ego way of taking the Beavis and Butthead term. You see what I'm saying? You might be just thinking it got something to do with, oh, I got to get up and get 10 jobs or something like that. No, the Beavis and Butthead, trust me, you got people in high ranking in corporations that got the Beavis and Butthead energy. That's an energy on its own. It don't matter if you're rich, small. It's just the same type of circumstances. Like a rich person could be a millionaire and a thousandaire could be a thousandaire, but they go through the same struggles because the millionaire bills probably 100,000 and the thousandaire bills is probably in the hundreds. So they still be sweating. They still both share equilibrium energies. They both got those days they got to sweat sometimes. So for the most part, this is how you even look at CEOs in corporate. Matter of fact, let's use this as an example. The writers at the MCU universe. There you go. Bunch of Beavis and Buttheads sitting around, made a lazy script, and made a bomb. You know what I'm saying? And it blew the whole Marvel universe with that last couple movies. Based off lazy writing. Beavis and Buttheads. Now you can get it out of your mind because you know those Beavis and Buttheads rich. You know they got a little bit more money than you and stuff. So now you understand the equilibrium of Beavis and Butthead. It don't matter where you at in life. When you ain't on your task the right way, God will take it right from you. Even if it look like sitting on your butt secretary work like the writers at MCU. They got too greedy like YouTube and became Beavis and Butthead in the mind. They still get up and go to work every day, but it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. How they got up and got to work every day, it still was Beavis and Butthead energy from an equilibrium perspective. So y'all could thank me and the shadow government for shutting down the whole comic book industry and stuff too. That's good, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I can't stop sipping out. I'm like, damn, I'm in the middle of a lie, man. Put that down. It's always best when it's fresh. You know what I'm saying? It's best when it's fresh because all the slushy and stuff, ice creamy still. You know what I'm saying? They all melting and stuff like that and too thick and stuff. But you know what I'm saying? It's like just right. All right, we told this. But yeah, we about to get into it soon as we hit 12 minutes. You know what I'm saying? For all Mazzaoth signs. So that's going to be particularly breaking down your houses because Mazzaoth is the zodiac wheel, but it's really particularly your houses, not necessarily saying yours like sun and moon and stuff like that because people get that messed up too. Thinking about those energies and when it comes into comparing and contrasting with Mazzaoth and zodiac. Zodiac is specific sun transit. You know what I'm saying? Mazzaoth is just the wheel itself that represent what all them transits go through. So all those transits would be considered desires, demiurges, or animals, or beasts. And when we go through the many beasts, the many animals, the animal cycle, we call it the animal wheel. You know what I'm saying? So the animal wheel itself is called the Mazzaoth. But when you get into the detail of squaring out that circle, then this is where you get to like the zodiac. You see what I'm saying? So to help y'all understand that context too. So a lot of times, before they even got specific with the sun allegories and newspaper astrology, it was like a house-based system. So when you think about the tree of life and the Kabbalah, or the allegory of the zeitgeist, the zeitgeist, they got it messed up with the Bible, but if you understand the actual allegory of the Bible, it's all really about the travels through the wheel itself, the 360 itself, the dragon eating its tail itself. So it's really all about the houses. And then when we specify the houses, that's squaring out the circle, and then that takes us into the zodiac, or religion, or math, or science, or NASA. But truly, they're all allegories off the esoteric concept of the wheel, or the monad, or and you see the monad will be the Mazzaoth, the houses, and the Sephiroths will be the zodiac, the each positions. See what I'm saying? It's the same terminology if you understand Jewish literature, Masonic art, and Jesuit intellect, which I don't even know why I'm getting so deep into this, and this is the PBS channel. They'd make the button yellow just talking like this. So let me be quiet. But just understanding just the behind the scenes of how they use words to encapsulate a whole narrative, or a whole intellectual property, or a whole way of life. Like Abraham, it'll be the template first, the father, and then the subsidiaries come, the many attributes that template have. So look at Abraham, or look at Mazzaoth like monad, and look at that like that would be a sport before we create what kind of sport it is. Then the zodiac will be the Sephiroths, and that will be the many objects we put together to create whatever sport that we had an idea. You see what I'm saying? So that will be all the many positions and stuff. So let's say the sport is the father, the monad, that we could pull and make an imaginary idea, and we call it sport, or monad, or Mazzaoth. Now, if we want to make a zodiac out of it, Sephiroths out of it, or, you see what I'm saying, make many attributes off of it, then whatever we come up with to call it a sport, those will be that. That will be the zodiacs of it, or that will be the Sephiroths of it. You know what I'm saying? Let's say we make basketball as a sport. Before we even call it basketball, it's just a sport. Okay, then we need a basketball, we need a hoop, we need a rim, we need a court. You know what I'm saying? All of these would be different positions, different Sephiroths, different characteristics. See what I'm saying? Different zodiac signs that we put together, squaring out in that one space, that one circle, that one monad, that one idea, original thought that we wanted to create a sport, or we wanted to create a monad, or we wanted to create, see what I'm saying, a Mazzaoth, to understand the whole 360 space we in. Now, in between the transitions and the phases, what do this phase mean? What do this position mean? What do this position mean? What do this phase? And then that takes us into the zodiac, Sephiroth, and its first sons and daughters from the father thought. So that y'all can help y'all understand how you can know why you getting crumbs because of what side of the playing field you on a tennis court. See what I'm saying? Is you on the side of the tennis court of you creating a concept of a monad, of a Mazzaoth, so you can put your own names into the Sephiroths or the zodiacs? See what I'm saying? AKA, do you create your own idea based upon having true wisdom and knowledge of equilibrium? Or are you piggybacking up under somebody else's in some way? See what I'm saying? Based upon you're already lost in someone else's theology, worldview, firmament, zodiac, Mazzaoths. So you don't understand the template of how they made the Sephiroth. You don't understand the template of how they made you don't understand the template of how they made the Kabbalah. You don't understand the template of how they made the Mazzaoth. You just understand the things that they have already created in their way. The zodiacs up under the Mazzaoth, the Sephiroths up under the Kabbalah tree. So I'm saying you just understand the second cup. So you have to be illuminated in order for you to be enlightened. Some outside reference have to teach you about your inside, where the outside reference came from other individuals who understood it from the inside first to present it outside to you. So you know this is an attribute and that you got access to too. You know this is ability you have too. But if you're not looking at things from that perspective and you're dealing with other biases and distractions and desires that need to get fulfilled, they got a lot of templates that already distract you to make you think that it's just something in the world, or really it's their creation that you could have created a better way to suit yours. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be in those kind of energies too. So you gotta, it's just, when it comes to the spiritual game, you just have to be aware of every instant. And when you're aware of every, and then it's hard to even know what instances to look at if you're still in one part or phase of your life that certain instances don't play out on a large enough level for you to be aware of those paths and roads. And it may be a lot of things you still have to do in a current position that's still dealing with past circumstances, because in your spaceship, your mind, you be having to turn around, you forget things, you miss things, you got to go back and reciprocate things, then pick up things, put back in your spiritual spaceship trunk and take it. And all of those things will distract you from being aware of other things. For an example, you could be in a 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. And let's say you're a person who don't make music, right? So in your life, you grew up around other people who had microphones for other reasons. So a microphone for you never clicked that it could be for music. And let's say you got older and you start to realize, hey, music is something to do. And you start to look around. How can I do it? You start to look at stuff that music could be used for, a microphone. Now you're seeing what you always had around you in a different light because you're in a different space in your life. See, but when you was in that previous space of distractions, other things was dealing with you because the family wasn't putting you to be aware of microphones could be used for music. You might have raised with motivational speakers or something like that. So a microphone to you was something different. So all those distractions when that microphone was always around you wasn't used for when you could be in another space to see it in another light to use it for different purposes. You see what I'm saying? So them whole times you had, this would be an allegory of what I'm breaking down. You could have something around you, person, place, or thing, but sometimes those substances don't play out large enough on a percentage scale for you to pay attention to it yet. Because you still might be distracted with other things, or it might be things God needs you for in that current space. But until you get out of those phases and stuff like that and have clairvoyance and attract new abilities, you'll start to see the stuff that was around you this whole time can be used for productivity. But you won't never be able to do that if you're lost in life distractions too much. So it'd be hard for you to take the little that you think you don't get to make it look like it's more than what it is for God consonance dissonance. And then when it is presented in front of you, or it's something that another person wish they had, but it's around you so much you don't look at it like that, so you take advantage of it, you might still have people tell you, hey, you got this, that, and the third, and look at it like it ain't that, or whatever like that, due to the fact of your deep distractions and stuff. Until you start to do enough shadow work, and you'll start to realize, oh, I can use the little that I don't got, make this more than what it is. And that's God testing me to see if I'm even responsible enough to stay on a mission, regardless of how the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension may make it seem like it's not possible. And God needs to see that first. See, but you might be lost in expectation thinking that you need to see something in the physical first as a form of God saying you could go for something. And since God is nothing, you should know during that ritual and spell, if you're trying to find God, you should know that you're doing it the wrong way if you're looking for something. So for the most part, that's how you get lost in some way and don't find God, but if only find the devil in some way. Because you'll be looking for something in the world the way they trained you, and then something that suit your desire, which is narcissistic in nature, you're going to call that God. Because it helped you in some way, shape, or form, and it's part of the demonic world, where God ain't always here to help you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes God is here to show you absence and nothingness at all, so you can learn to get some qualities God had, doing something on your own. God helped those who help themselves. Then, when you start to manifest from what you did on your own, you're going to start to realize how that was God. Because things that you manifested was outside of you. It took spirits in other bodies. It took other circumstances. So you know, this whole existence is just not possible through you. You ain't all possibilities. So what you're going to see as a confirmation that God show you is, yeah, you did something on your own, but there's a secret teamwork makes the dream work that's non-understood to the common brain that you're going to start to understand when you jump there. When you do something to God, for God, God do something for you. Since you are limited in your limited possibilities, just a limited piece, if you pick a piece for God, God is all possibilities. It'll make things that you can't possibly do by yourself, you'll end up having access to it. You didn't control that. You just reciprocated some effort you only had access to. But if you did it for God, God gonna make sure the things that you ain't possible of doing will become possible for you through the lens of other spectrums. Then that's how you know, oh, okay, this is God doing it. Everything is in reverse. But I got to do something in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension that look like it's by myself. So in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, God could be like, that's a vessel that I like because that's what I did. For I can even do something for this person. So in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, you might, to other people, look like you're doing things in mysterious ways. But in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, you understand it really was out of your hands because you can't control other people's minds and stuff like that. So if you is getting attention or something like that, it must be God's will. See what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation, Kat. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real stuff. So that's how y'all gotta, and I truly appreciate that. Real stuff. Number 10, because that's a little synchronicity. All puns intended. But that's how it worked. It's a witchcraft. It's an experience. It's something we do. It's up to us as a spirit to know how to get there, though. And how to get there is esoteric GPS directions. And I got mad videos on that. To move up is be optimistic. To move down is depressing. That's how you move in the direction in there. And all of these is not negative or positive. Depending on where you at, if you do enough shadow work, as a spirit, you know where you at for you to be aware of certain things, to develop a mind state for it to be what you think you are experiencing in 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. So when you understand that, you know when you in negative spaces yourself and not victimizing the external world for putting you in that place. You know there's a such thing as you putting in a certain percentage level in that for you to be in that position. So when you start to understand that, now you're starting to navigate and redirect your spaceship into a place that ain't got nothing to do with so many thoughts and feelings. Then when you get to that place, that's you going into a lack of form and you're being closer to nothing. Now, since you fell into something, you're just doing the best you can. You're always going to be in some form of thought or feeling. But if it's light, those type of thoughts and feelings can mimic that nothing world a little better. Nothingness better. So you're more able to pull out new abilities from that nothing to make something with your mind already than an individual that's deep in the conscious water and only know how to work with their insecurity desires and the ways of the world and stuff like that. And then you bring a new ability to help others with that, which is ultimately God. Thank you so much for the donation, Elohim. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Anytime we bring a new possibility, you are used as a vessel for God. Because God is all possibilities, but a piece of that all possibility can be used through your little piece of observation. So it may be limited, but if it's a limited piece for God, it's going to seem like it's new possibilities that was once only seeming like it was only limited to others and yourself. You brought a new attribute to it. You brought a new character to it. You brought a new expression to it. So you expanded that world that everybody was once saying thought it was only a handful of ways to go about it. You created a new way of going about it. So you expanded the universe. And that new way was given to you by God, and you was used as a vessel to bring that new way into reality. Because the only thing standing between God and the universe is you. So you got a piece of God, and you trapped yourself into the piece of the universe. A piece of God is nothing, but your piece of nothing, your space of observation, got separated when you made a mind. That's part of the universe. Teamwork makes the dream work. So you know that once upon a time, you wasn't trapped in no form, and you know how hard it is to get out of a form. So just trying is letting you know that is letting God know that at least you're trying to get back to some higher natures, for lack of better words, but more expanded natures, more natures that can bring new abilities to not allow us to get as stuck as we just did. So everything is a mistake. Nothing is planned. So any Bible teaching y'all that something was planned and no, everything is a mistake. You like something, you end up hating it. Take that all the way to the mental world, how we made these organs in this atmosphere. You liked it, that mind you created, it condensed, became physical, you start realizing how much you're tired of it now. And that play out as insecurities or mental or organ deficiencies and stuff like that. Because something getting outdated. And you're like, oh, nah, I want something new. But since they got y'all lost in one body, I mean, getting fixated into having one body and wanting this one to live forever, then they get y'all lost in modification. And that's esoteric GMO, where they genetically modify y'all and create new men and women, new characteristics on your mind to make your body go do these technology things physically. So instead of just making a new glorified mind and body, they keep making y'all want to update this one, what actually makes you more negative in nature, mentally, and have more speeding up the process into organ failure. That's why everybody getting them BBLs got to make sure they get some type of shots or something like that, or some fluid could shoot to their heart or something like that and straight up die. So yeah, y'all got to be careful. Y'all got to be real careful. Now look, check this out. Now let's get into these energies, because these are things that we have to do. How to materialize from manifesting the ability of a love connection or spiritual connection that could suit the things that you love, appreciate, value, or relate to, even when it comes to love interest. But you could join amongst others or find some type of object or thing that you can compromise with that can actually get the things you appreciate or the things that pleasure you to speed up in a more faster nature that goes into your favor in some way, shape, or form, due to the fact of utilizing this alchemy that I'm getting ready to break down when it comes into your houses. Now, let's say if you got, now what we're breaking down is Venus in Libra and Mercury in Gemini. Mercury is debilitated in Gemini, so we may have a failure of making logical sense what we're trying to express internally. But if we know how to make a parable, a metaphor, or make something seem meaningful or spiritual or something like that, then that could allow the communication style to have a little bit more grace than a reprobate person that's using this energy at this time, because Mercury is debilitated. But due to the fact of its sextile in Libra, Libra gives it opportunities for it to have grace, due to the fact if you planted good seeds, which means you got the right people around you already, or you're trying to do that and put yourself in the right circumstance. So that means you're already going to be relating or communicating or in some type of relationships that already match what you're into, so you don't have to do so much logical communicating. A person already know where you're coming from. So y'all could go ahead and add on to each other, and then Mercury don't have to develop in no negative type of way. You know what I'm saying? Where it's debilitated here. So keep that in mind too. Ooh, oh. So glaring, made me get a headache. So keep that in mind too. So also, if you planted good seeds, if you planted bad seeds, it might not even be no one there to reciprocate or communicate or have no balance with when it comes to communicating about spirituality or talking to individuals that's into the same thing that you're into and stuff like that. That might not even be apparent at the moment. So that lets you know you planted bad seeds, and it's time for you to kind of put yourself into a better scenario where you are your new self right now because of this energy in Scorpio. So the house that you got Libra in is going to be the house that you're going to be a search for love, appreciation, validity, validation, compromising, and try not to overindulge in anything. But to make these things go smoothly, you're going to have to look at the house that Mercury is in and Sagittarius is in, and doing those things in a sufficient manner will make sure that things are fair and balanced when it comes to your love matters or what you love and appreciate and compromise with, as far as Venus being in the Libra house. Those things are going to play out more smoothly in that house, so you don't have as many problems. So this would be like the little alchemy or a secret little trick for individuals that's into astrology, because I know if you listen to a regular astrologer, they're not really breaking it down to you as how to use it, like how the ancients and the Jews actually meant it for it to be. They ought to tell you it like it's pandering and some newspaper astrology. So it's some stuff that they just be talking to anybody, reprobates who ain't nothing in life, so they never going to experience whatever a person be saying, hey, you this, and you're going to get $1 million and stuff. That's divination. That's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? These are things you got to do. You can't even get no job without getting up and going for that interview. But if if you go through the going on a train of thought and line of reasoning as the pattern in astrology, you would think that. But y'all got to learn how to start blending things with even every part of life so you can start to see the equilibrium and everything. So when you don't sound like a fool when you're having one conversation and then you think you're intelligent when you're having another conversation, and both conversations is on the same template. So you got to keep that in mind too. Because you'll have meditation teachers and astrologers saying you're powerful, you could manifest with the mind or something like that. And then, so when you talking spiritual, you think that sound cool or whatever like that. But then when we talking about us going out, having to go get a job or something like that, you're going to think you sound intelligent by saying we got to go fill out some applications. So why you don't know how to sit back and be like, wait a minute, meditating at that meditation story they said, and then in this conversation, this is the same template, us trying to get up and go get some money. So wait, one of these got to be wrong then, or we looking at these as wrong then. You see what I'm saying? So at some point, that's what y'all got to start learning how to do. Know when you talking about the same template that sometimes can make sense when it's in a different pattern when you're having a discussion with your grandmother. And then sometimes it can sound retarded when you're having a different type of discussion, but it'd be the same template. It'd be both conversations be about an objective that's the same template. You know what I'm saying? So you'll be listening to meditation and they'd be like, hey, you can manifest $1 million if you just sit and think about it. Then in one breath, you'll be like, all right, I got to take care of my bills. And then you got to go up and get a job. At some point, you got to understand that if you were to take the manifesting quality and be like, all right, I can do that in this area, you'll see it don't work. So you'll see something wrong with those mechanisms of whoever teaching that. Because if you could sit around and meditate and manifest $1 million, you should be able to sit around and meditate and manifest changing somebody's mind like a manager and have them just give you your job, even if you ain't fill out the application. And that's the only way you even gonna get to $1 million, acting on things. So whatever these people be talking about is kind of weird. And y'all be listening to somebody saying they manifested something and behind closed doors they had 10 jobs. But they ain't talk about all that part. They just told you that they sat and thought a certain way. Of course the thoughts and feelings work. If you take an action, thoughts and feelings don't work not taking actions. I'm saying faith don't work without, works don't work. Faith don't work without works. So that's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you they got 10 jobs. So that's where the manifestation come from. You could be two people, and let's say both of y'all got 10. You could be two people. Let's say there's two people, right? And they both got 10 jobs. One person could be thinking that, oh man, I hate this life and I ain't gonna never be nothing. They'll manifest having to get 11 jobs. It'd be one person thinking like, oh, I know these 10 jobs could get me $1 million and things of that nature. They'll probably manifest some type of situation where they can cut certain jobs and only have 7 jobs. And if they stay on that type of thought form, then this is where manifestation and materializing work. Because you're still putting into action. You got the 10 jobs just like the other person, but it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. The person in the mind state of thinking the reason they got 10 jobs in the first place because life's so hard and this, that, and the third, they don't even see no new possibilities. The only possibility is getting 11 jobs. The person who reached to get that 10 jobs the whole time to get it, that was thinking that, okay, this gonna get me $1 million though. And this time it's gonna get me $1 million. And this time they might manifest a situation where one of those jobs become better than the other, and then they could cut that, they could downsize and only have 6 jobs, and then end up manifesting $1 million so only have 1 job in some way, shape, or form. So that's when it kick in. But when y'all be online, that be what they don't talk about. That be what they don't talk about. They don't talk about how they teaching you how to meditate and how to manifest. And how they actually manifested their money is getting up every day promoting you their book. So that was their manifestation trick. And then you somewhere buying a book trying to manifest, and all they did was do some shadow government stuff. They did their manifestation. You just got rocked to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So you'll be thinking, dang, what did this person do to manifest that house? Sell a book. And you'll go buy a book to be trying to read in it. Like, how did they manifest that house? You got how they manifested the house. You reading it right now. You bought it. You know what I'm saying? You don't get it. That's what I'm telling y'all. Y'all gotta become the wise spirits eventually. Or you would just be online teaching Plato and the book Plato had, or some other stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You just some puppet promoting somebody else's manifestation trick. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't even be making books. I'm gonna make one though, but man, I don't know if I'm gonna sell it. I still be thinking about that. Like, is it even worth right? I be feeling like this is my book. Anytime I get into stuff like that, I start thinking like that. I start thinking like, man, but since the whole world is so low, God said I could cheat now. But see, when I teach stuff like this, that's God looking at me like saying, "You or see, child, this is why you failed at first, because you giving reprobates. If they dumb humans, let them be dumb humans." And because I'll be up here teaching another 10 years. Let's say I'm giving y'all all this good game right here, right? Y'all never do it though. Y'all never do it to the 97% of the world. You know what I'm saying? It'll all turn into me teaching for another 10 years. So it's almost like when God say cheat, that's for me to not tell y'all stuff like that and me do stuff like that. And I'm trying not to be no spirit like that. This is why I'm talking like this. This is the mind of an angel. The mind of an Antares moon. We destroy anything any human could attach to think they happy about. Because angels know how to do things better than all y'all. And we suffer when we think we want to participate like that. Angels not supposed to intervene like that. Angels not supposed to intervene. Just like got me feeling I can sing. Life is but a dream. But when I sit back and see the shadow government just do it, land on their stomach, it's like, wait a minute, I gotta say something. But every time I say something, it get used against me. So it's like, why not just do that? Because I say something and attract haters, trolls, dumb stuff, dumb ideas. And it's like, oh, goddamn, humans want the shadow government just to keep running them. That's what it is. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. It just got something to do with a human want the shadow government to run them. And anytime another human or angel come acting like they don't want that, they start getting jealous. Like, why you don't want to be a slave? Why you don't want to be a mental slave? Why you want to believe you all these things? No, you supposed to understand this normal. You're just human. We supposed to go with the law. We supposed to not act like we powerful. We supposed to be in this, like, you know what I'm saying? But spirits, when they don't know that this is how they expressing themselves, because the shadow government got them so lost in indoctrination, they think that they actually intelligent by becoming trolls, trying to bring people down, trying to make people feel like we all supposed to give our power away. We ain't supposed to own it. We supposed to let whatever some Jewish person say, they're the most powerful. We supposed to let whatever they're talking about in this, that's the most powerful. We not supposed to ever say we that stuff like, oh yeah, any human come on there saying that, I can't wait to challenge them. I can't wait. If Jesus Christ came in the flesh right now, I will spit in his face. I can't wait. Can't wait to tell him he ain't Jesus. Can't wait to tell God he ain't God if he down here. Like, no, this how y'all humans do. Y'all create all kind of logics, all kind of stuff. When y'all get jealous and intimidated and stuff like that. Y'all find ways to bring people down to y'all hell, y'all world. That's all y'all know how to do. That's all y'all know how to do. To the point that the spirits y'all do that to only be trying to tell y'all, you can go to the world we talking about. Y'all just keep showing us, no, we don't want to. No, we want to stay down here with our own world, our own separate feminism. So whatever, like, oh, gender divine feminine, red pill of the universe. This the way things should be. Even if they into religion, they become reprobates. Well, society right now says we have to do this. So you serve two masters, your God and society. So, but society's stronger than your God, because when you red pill and you want to deal with women, modern women, your God ain't got nothing to do with it. Society become your God in that area. But as soon as you want to rock women to sleep to get them and stuff like that, then you pull out the Quran book and y'all full of crap, contradictions, reprobates. Might as well throw it all out the window. All of it is retardation, you ask me. You won't have no ghosts floating around your body, playing out characteristics anytime you're doing something that ain't got nothing to do with it. But it always got to jump in the room and play the elephant in the room and have other people see you through that light. And there's some shit you don't even give a fuck about like that, though. You just raised and indoctrinated. Y'all might as well just get rid of shit. Just get rid of shit. Just throw religion away sometimes. You have to throw it all out the window sometimes. Throw the bathwater out with the baby. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff, because it get deep. You just be trapped, missing all kind of opportunities in your life for no damn reason. Love scenarios, relationships, business opportunities and stuff, all because of fart cloud. Some fart cloud, some Mason created back in 1909 or something like that. I said, nobody got time for all that. Nobody got time to no lost old thought for us and stuff. They don't even gotta come knock on your door no more. You wake up, take a first swig of fresh air and stuff like that. Boom, you already witchcraft out with they golems and stuff like that. These cats somewhere wrinkled somewhere, nowhere around you. How deep they stuff go. Anybody got time for all that? I said, I got time for all that. Real stuff. But look, check this out. Let's get into the energies of what y'all need to do in order to create this spiritual connection to make sure that whatever that you love or appreciate or compromise with go in a much more sufficient manner. So let's say if you got Libra in the first house, you're going to be in search for some type of love, appreciation, value, relatability, or compromising in your personal life. Sharing your or want to share your personal space during this particular time that you can share your personal interests with. And stuff like that with others that's like-minded. Now, here's the thing. In order to reach that plateau, you're going to have some type of spiritual discussion to get out of a cage so it can be free, whatever rooted in that cage when it comes to a communication or something like that in your surrounding, your environment, or dealing with individuals that you're familiar with. So there's some type of spiritual communication, right? Where you can't just be talking to anybody and try to make people support or force a person to share your space with. Got to be somebody that already understand you, because Mercury is in Sagittarius, and being in the third house, you trying to make somebody understand you that's not into the same things you're into is going to develop them to look at you like you're mentally ill or something like that. So if you plant good seeds, that means you don't even have to speak much because a person already know where you're coming from, especially in the context of spirituality or whatever like that. Mercury and Sagittarius within your third house, aka your surroundings or dealing with your friends or whatever like that, or those specific friends that can have something to do with that type of quality. And therefore, once those discussions is had, whatever energy with Venus and Libra being in the first house is going to be able to run through a lot more smoothly. Now, let's say you got Libra in the second house. Now, Libra in the second house, you're going to want to see more love, appreciation, value, relatability when it comes into the things that you value. People, places, and things that you value, where you plant seeds at to build your self-esteem and your creative gifts and talents. So in order to get that done in the most sufficient manner, you have to utilize some type of spiritual communication that's come from the heart. A domestic issue need to be taken care of in a spiritual way, so that cage could be lifted. Or some type of private communication in some way, shape, or form that's home or heartfelt. Right? Or communication about home in some way, or going back to something familiar, because it deals with memory and things of that nature with the fourth house too. And things that you value, like creativity, money, material, or whatever the case may be, going to be put in a much more better, sufficient manner. Now, let's say if you got Libra in the third house. Now, with Libra in the third house, you're going to be in search for some type of love, appreciation, value, relatability, or compromising when it comes to your surroundings, your location, your environment, what you're familiar with, and things of that nature. So for the most part, with that energy, now you're going to have to look to the fifth house. So there's some type of spiritual expression that you're going to have to communicate, or communicate what you're entertained by, or what you're trying to entertain, or what you're giving attention to, or making something more light, not heavy and depressing, making something more light that the stage can be set for that feeling or that creativity or that attention to be expressed, or that attention can be gave as far as what you're entertaining. and make sure that it's through the lens of Mercury and Sagittarius, communicating so about some spiritual stuff or some meaningful stuff that's more into the things that you're into. And therefore, once that get done, then whatever in your surroundings, things should be in a better perspective or more easier access, or having more easier access to love, reciprocation, or consideration when it comes to your surroundings and your environment or dealing with your friends. Now, let's say you got Libra in the 4th house, which is a square energy. You might be in search for some type of love, appreciation, value, relatability, or compromising in the area dealing with home, family, domestic issues, or you may find a sense craving for privacy at this moment. Now, in order to get that done, you might have to look towards the 6th house, right? There may be some type of spiritual, and Mercury don't even like to really be in the 6th house either. So try not to do it so much at work, but if it's needed, it's probably situations that is needed where conversations and discussions that's not necessarily productive when it comes to work and efforts and stuff. Get out of here, kitty cat. Get out of here, kitty cat. I'm saying that's things that might be a little bit unproductive and stuff like that. It might be some type of spiritual communication that needs to be had because there's a cage, an elephant in a room going on at the job, and somebody needs to lighten up the room in some way, shape, or form with some type of prayer. Like, it might be something, but it ain't always got to deal with work. It could be a situation where you're dealing with something that you're working on, or a routine or a pattern, or dealing with your responsibilities. And when these spiritual discussions and stuff like that is starting to get had, where you can start to see who's like-minded and who's not to separate from, then that's going to pour over into your 4th house and have better reciprocation or consideration when it comes to home, family, domestic issues, or individuals you're close to, or better abilities to obtain privacy. Now, let's say you got Libra in the 5th house. With Libra in the 5th house, you're going to be in search for some form of love, appreciation, value, relatability, or compromising, or some type of compassion or something like that when it comes to how you express yourself. You might be wanting to express yourself in a more loving manner, or you want other people to express themselves and entertain love a little bit more and stuff like that. So things can be more light when you're entertaining your creative gifts or your expressions about things, your character. Now, to get that done a lot more sufficiently, you got to look towards the 7th house. And there's going to be some spiritual communication that needs to be had on a one-on-one basis, where you set someone to the side based upon the failure y'all relationship is based on lack of communication, or y'all letting too many other people crowd what y'all got going on in some way, shape, or form on a one-on-one basis. So there may be one-on-one communications that need to be had that could be resolved to create more fairness and balance in some way, shape, or form, that could be correlated and constructed in a more spiritual manner or a meaningful manner, or to see if you guys just need to separate because you're not into the same thing, friendship or siblingship or relationship-wise, or however the case may be, negative or positive. And those things should pour over into your 5th house, where you're starting to experience more love, appreciation, and value. Even if whatever this one-on-one conversation you have, you might have told a person we might need to separate, but that might have been all the words they needed to hear through Mercury to tap into their spirit, to make them create a meaning with Sagittarius, for them to start to give you a little bit of act right? So in the 5th house, it's going to pour over as you get more reciprocation, this person not being so depressed and them being a little bit more light in how they express themselves to you and with their feelings and stuff like that, and with their entertaining. They're not entertaining too much bullshit when they're interacting with you in the 5th, when it comes to making your 5th house more sufficient. Now, let's say if you got Libra in the 6th house. Now, with Libra being in the 6th house, right? This puts us in a situation where, did I say 6th house already? No, that was 5th house. Yeah, 6th house. You might be in search for love, appreciation, value, relatability, and compromising when it comes to work, health, routine, at your job, or your responsibilities, even if it's children, or things you do in a routine and pattern that you keep up on task. You might want some support there, or you might try to find some satisfaction in this area, or even when it comes to your job, you might want a raise or something like that. Just want some form of consideration or reciprocation that deals with the 6th house. You might need help, or you might want to do more things to help you with your health. You might start appreciating exercising more. But there's a lot of distractions that may prevent you from having the time to do that, or other type things. So to help this go out a lot more better, I said a lot more better, to make this go a lot better, Mercury in the 8th house, that's what you need to pay attention to. There's something you need to think about, Mercury, that you may be in a cage about, Sagittarius, that's dealing with the 8th house, an insecurity, a habit, something you need to put depth to, transform.
from ashes to dust to rise again as a phoenix. So these things is not holding you back, and you got enough free open time on a surface level out of that darkness to participate with your actual deep desires, passions, and motivations that other people can see that you're trying to will into existence in a real deep way, in some way, shape, or form. So as long as that you're having these communications with these people behind closed doors, your sexual partners, or communication with yourself to talk yourself out of certain habits that you know as a fact may be blocking you from doing this or this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? You might know that you got cavities, but you got a favorite candy, Laffy Taffy or something like that. And you sometimes when your cavity not hurting, you think that's a okay for you'll go eat some Laffy Taffy. So you know deep down inside, in order for your teeth to stop hurting, you know you just got to go ahead and stop caring about Laffy Taffies in some way. So I'm just making it simple, but this is Eighth House making it simple, because y'all hear words like occult mysticism and think it's deeper than what it really is. Nah, it's just really just having these inner conversations with yourself. And it really just play out as just simple stuff like I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, in a nutshell, those deep things you know you need to stop because it's preventing you from you knowing where you can go and where things could be possibly better at when it comes to your passions and motivations. And then you could fully go for that without having to keep going to the dentist at that day. You know you could have showed up at that concert or something like that and went backstage and got a record deal. Those type of energies and stuff. And then once you transmute that, and have those conversations with yourself, because it's like an inner world, you're able to put that in a perspective where it's going to pour over into the sixth house, and you're going to get more love, appreciation, value, relatability, compromising, and reciprocation when it comes to your responsibilities, getting help there, and taking care of your tasks and duties. Thank you so much for the donation. Shout out to Madam Masita. Madam Masita. You said just received a job offer. Thank you for keeping us on chat. And shout out, y'all giving y'all spiritual blessings and stuff like that. Shout out to the whole soul group putting themselves in good positions and stuff. Real stuff. You know what I'm saying? That let us know that Stargates is opening up for everybody in this diggity thing. You know what I'm saying? Because God ain't tell us don't participate. God told us to change these energies and and change the inanimate object with some new beautiful energy in those things. And therefore, we just take over that whole world and can't nobody stop us after that. Then we can choose what we want to do with that world. Do we want to take this and add it to something else that could be bigger? Or do we want to see who we need to save here, be a vessel? But throughout the meantime, it'll just be all kind of accumulations, all kind of manifestations, all kind of, and then that let us know that God using us as a vessel. Real stuff. But yeah, and I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Y'all subscribe to that Soul Group Online channel too. And she got a channel too. You know what I'm saying? Since everybody else that I be naming, she got a channel too. So yeah, it's women that got channels too. But other than that though, but yeah, you know, when we get into the eighth house, you want to make sure that you're thinking or having that internal communication, because a lot of times when it comes to the eighth house, this doesn't even necessarily have to deal with external people, unless it's people that you know privately or in secret. So these will be individuals like your family or your deep connections of friends, or like your actual sexual partners or partner and stuff like that. So those would be the only time that it'll kind of trickle out as actual people, but more on a percentage scale, probably like 60 to 75% more is just inner work, your shadow work, the things that's going on behind closed doors when it comes into the eighth house allegories. Now, let's say you got Libra in the seventh house. Now, if you got Libra in the seventh house, now you're going to be trying to find some type of love, appreciation, some value, some relatability, and compromising and stuff like that when it comes into your relationships, how you relate to others. You may be currently in a relationship where you may feel like you're getting the short end of the stick and things may be a little unfair and stuff like that. Or, you know, you might manifest others that might look at you like that, even if you're looking at it like, what everything I'm doing is what's making it fair. So those discussions or things or that consideration or that love or appreciation is probably going to be lacking a little bit, and this may be what you in search for. So you may have to utilize the ninth house, right? There maybe have to be some spiritual communications that need to be had. Hell, ninth house deals with travel. You might need to give certain individuals even a small sense of a break. You know what I'm saying? Like go over your parents' house for a while. Or for a few hours, depending on how much y'all rooted into y'all relationship, so y'all can't separate too long. But, you know, having these spiritual discussions or ideas and doing the things of that house, which is the ninth house, maybe you have to travel, maybe you have to go somewhere. A lot of y'all may have to go to church or something like that. And when you leave that energy, you're in a better state when it comes to dealing with your relationships, your seventh house energy again, to be able to reciprocate better or manifest or materialize a circumstance where you're receiving consideration a lot more better, whether this person wasn't acting right, giving you some act right or not. So in order to get the seventh house in a more better state when it comes to Venus, there's some spiritual communication that needs to be had, even when it comes to internal traveling. Because external traveling is actually physically traveling, but internal traveling is just expanding your mind. There may be discussions you need to have with others that y'all need to have about expanding, like starting to think and add different ideas to what y'all doing and get out of a routine that y'all in, a small limited third house routine and pattern, some sixth house idea. It might be y'all need to start talking about how y'all can expand, or you might need to start having ideas on how you need to expand that could participate into the sixth house and make the relationship better in some way that it don't make you feel like you're stuck in something. And a lot of y'all may be waking up to the fact with this alignment, specifically with the Libra 7th house, Sagittarius and Mercury transiting your 9th house. A lot of y'all might start waking up for as far as y'all alignment, realizing that the person that you're relating to or the friend you got on a one-on-one level don't match your moral systems or don't match your spiritual system, or this is a person you can't really travel with, or this is a person you can't even think far out with, internally travel. And you might start feeling like this individual or individuals are small portions of cages for you. And you might start to play out escapism a little bit, escape from these situations by self-sabotaging or something like that. So these might be ideas that's starting to develop during this particular time too. So be careful of that you don't do no bridge burning scenario that's unnecessary. But at the same time, these are things that you may start to look at so you can find the situation. And if that's needed to be done, it might be needed to be done because you're separating and God gonna put the right people, places, and things there. Even if you had to actually travel, coming up with that idea, because Mercury is debilitated, but let's say you come up with the idea, Mercury, 9th house, to actually travel to get away from certain things. Wherever you go or internally travel, whatever you start doing to expand may manifest or materialize a better relationship when it pour over into the 7th house. Better consideration there. You being able to network on a one-on-one level with people that match your energy more better, even people that you can travel with now. Now, let's say if you got Libra in the 8th house, then you might be in search for some form of love, appreciation, value, relatability, or compromising when it comes into your deep desires, passions, motivations, insecurity, a habit of yours. A lot of y'all might need to go to rehab or something like that, or however the case may be, or sex habits or something like that. Or you might get more sexual cravings right now where you think sex can heal you more than anything, that even stuff that don't even deal with sex. You know what I'm saying? You might be going through something at your job. You think sex will heal it or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might just went through an argument with a family member. You think sex about to heal it or some stupid stuff like that or whatever. But for the most part, which it can be, sexual healing. That's a real song. That's a real thing. But at the same time, when people just, all right, let's get back on track, YOLO. Let's get back on track, YOLO. But like I said, when we talk about the 8th house, right? This is where you're gonna be trying to look for more love, appreciation, value, relatability, or compromising that, especially when it comes to needing help with a deep insecurity that you may have or a habit. You're gonna be looking for some type of balance or help with that, whether an object or especially a person. So you got to look towards the 10th house. The more you have some like type of spiritual communication and change the way what you're known for, change your status. You might got a negative status. You might got a status of not needing help. Start speaking spiritual so you could be known for how you're speaking and your status could change. Like, oh, this person is wise now or whatever like that. And when you change that status with that form of communication of Mercury put into a more Sagittarius like you're wise or you're trying or you learned something. And now whatever you're speaking, like you're teaching, a person can get the energy off of you. Like, okay, you was a student of life and you learned something now. Then that could pour over into your 8th house and you'll actually have some manifestation or materializing of a person, place, or thing that can actually give you that consideration, love, appreciation, or that value when it comes to behind closed doors or in secret that you necessarily need. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to emotional support. Sometimes that be all a human need. Some type of, because when you lack emotions for your own gift, a person that's into the same thing you into, especially a family member or a friend that you're close to, them giving you a piece of what you drank yourself and lack is all you be needing sometimes. And it'll charge you up because you can't be excited, but if someone else can give you excitement or give you some boost or some courage, they gave you a piece of where you drained yourself and then you lack. It filled up your cup a little bit, and then whatever you manifest from that, you can do that for that person, and then now y'all got a true connection, a reciprocation going on. Okay. But with Libra being in the where you at, 8th house, that's where you're going to be trying to find reciprocation at, behind closed doors, and you're going to get it based upon having that spiritual communication that you could become known for, and it become your status, and that becomes your gossip or what you're talking about or your business. You know what I'm saying? Communicating about things you need to expand on and getting out of certain cages and stuff, and therefore you're going to attract the right people there to pour over into behind closed doors or in secret as a person that can help you with your desires and stuff like that. Like, for an example, you can say, let's say you know a crackhead and they got this alignment, right? And then for the most part, their status was known for that. But let's say they starting to get wise, so they're starting to speak like, I need to change, I need to do this. When they're around people that know them for that, they're known for something and they know them for their status. And let's say they start to speak that Mercury and Sagittarius like they're wise about their status that they're known for. Oh yeah, I need to do that. They might attract a family member that might be like, hey, come over here, I can help you, and take them to rehab or something like that. And now they help them with some 8th house deep habit that they needed to transform. But if they don't know astrology or watch my channel, they won't use Mercury transit in their 10th house at the moment. So they won't be speaking what they know they need to change, so it can be wise, so it can pour over in that Venus Libra 8th house. They'll be still trying to talk or do whatever that they're doing, having the same status that's putting them in that cage in that area. So they only known for that. Y'all get it? All right, now a person with Libra in the 9th house. Now you're going to be looking for some type of love, appreciation, value, or some type of relatability or compromising and things of that nature when it comes into your spiritual systems, your experiences, your meanings, your reasonings, your wisdom and knowledge. You might want to even go to church with a person. So if you're in a relationship and this person not into those type of things you're into, you're going to start questioning that right now. So you might start testing them like, hey, why you don't want to go to church with me or something like that? And then depending on what they say, that's what's going to make you justify in your mind is you getting ready to set yourself up on your way out from in that relationship, or get ready to try to adjust it to make it better, or just kind of reevaluate or something like that. But at the same, and try to change their mind, however the case may be. But that's not everybody's scenario, because everybody ain't church going and stuff like that. But I'm just speaking in terms of our morality and stuff like that, and our experiences. You might find yearnings to want love, appreciation, value, and compromising in that area. So to get that done, you have to utilize the Mercury in the 11th house with Sagittarius there. So there's going to be some spiritual communications or some things you need to communicate if you feel smothered when it comes to your associations and family and stuff like that that you are associated with, or how you present yourself in the public, or the things you like to go buy and stuff. So you can start to compare and contrast what associations or associates you need to ghost, and what associations and associates you need to come up with the idea to make yourself a part of, because it matches more of the Sagittarius energy and way of communicating, where you don't have to sound like you have to over explain something because they're in the same world as you. That association or what you associated in is in the same world as you, so you don't have to use the stressing of the debilitation of Mercury just to get your point across. People already understand, and whatever that they're saying, you can understand it without so many other mental jogging and mental gymnastics. And the more you start to do that and compare and contrast in those energies, you're going to be able to put yourself into a position where it's going to pour over into the 9th house, and you're going to have more love, appreciation, value, relatability, or compromising when it comes into your ability to travel internally or externally, or when it comes into your ability of learning or having somebody to share an experience with, that doing something that you actually want to do. Now, because that's so hard to do nowadays too, especially with this new GMO energy of everybody. All of us, based upon the scenarios they got us in. So, it's an extra mission. What is that? Oh. It's an extra mission just to it's an extra mission. Yeah, that's what I'm going to allow us. That's what I'm saying. Y'all gotta watch yourselves. Don't tell yourselves y'all business and stuff like if you somebody like me, because you somebody like me and you live in the hood, man, it'll just be anybody that know you, but you know you don't fuck with them like that though. So if they familiar where you at or something like that, they drive by 100 times. They might be on the phone watching you to be like, let me see if he gonna say something. You know what I'm saying? Like little stupid stuff. Like I've been through it all, y'all. I'll be through it. I think I just went through that just now. So whoever you is, say you don't cross no other boundaries. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is. Know what it is. I don't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Wherever I'm at. I protect my space, bitch. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like but yeah, when we get into Mercury and yeah, that kind of threw me off a little bit. You know, there they go again. I'm saying it's like retard reprobates, man. It's reprobates. I hate non-humans. Thank you so much for the donation, Beto. I appreciate that for the ball bar, but I hate humans. I hate humans, man. Real stuff here, and I don't got a block throw chakra either. It says because I be knowing everything. I be knowing facial expressions and stuff like. So I already be knowing what's what did who. So let me not get into all that right now. You know what I'm saying? Let me just not even get into all that. But yay. So you know what Mercury, Venus, like I said, being in your ninth house, you got to pay attention to the 11th house. So you need to know who to separate from and know who to connect with as far as associations and things of that nature. And then that put you into a situation where it'll pour over in your ninth house and you actually have some type of love, appreciation, value, compromising, or something like that when it comes to traveling or learning or having some type of wisdom and some type of stuff. Now, look, check this out. Let's say you got Libra in the 10th house, which is, ooh, that feel good. It squares there also. So for the most part, when you're going to be trying to be in search for some type of love, appreciation, value, relatability, or compromising when it comes to your career, your status, what you're known for, how you're seen, will ultimately can become your career, your popularity level. Now, the lower octave of gossip is just people talking about you. The higher octave of, or you just being into like gossip. The higher octave of business is it being gossip that's productible and look like it's something that's ran or something that could be brought into the physical world, or you got actual business or you stable or something like that. So for the most part, that one don't even take talking at all, but it can. So at the same time, it's all forms of gossip, but it's still business and it's what you're known for and it's your status. So that's where you're going to be trying to find some love, some consideration there, some support there in some way, shape, or form. Now to get it done, you have to utilize Mercury in the 12th house, which Mercury is debilitated, but Sagittarius does okay here because they share the same depositor. So for the most part, you may have to do some type of spiritual communicating, talking out of that straitjacket, that false sense of faith and belief that you in some way, shape, or form. Make sure you're open and expressive enough to know that if you are in a delusion, you're getting the right reactions to know that it's a delusion, so you can know to adjust something, so you're not expressing that energy in another area in life where it's still a delusion and it's a time that you needed it to be adjusted and be put into a better attribute, but you ain't putting it in the ground spaces yet. You're not seeing if the people around you like it. You're not even seeing if it's done, like locally or around our family members, and you just trying to take something that you don't even know if it's a creativity or not, and it might still be a delusion. Then you go try to take it straight to the big leagues, and then really get your heart broke and stuff like that. It might develop a bad reputation too, where you can't even start it again if you wanted to. So you got to be careful of that. But if you had this type of spiritual communication or something like that, when it comes into with others or yourself about your faith, belief, and getting out of certain moral cages or a false sense of faith and beliefs and moral system that wasn't necessarily working for yourself or helping others, then all that mental jargon and gymnastics will be able to pour over as you get more support or some type of energy when it comes into your 10th house, your status, what you're known for, how you're seen. Because that dream or that creativity that you adjusted and it's no longer a delusion will attract everybody that'll pour into what you're known for, how you're seen. And that dream, 12th house, that you end up being known for, 10th house, going to start receiving more Venus energy and a Libra archetype, aka more fair and balanced when it comes to that consideration or support. And you'll manifest others, you'll be able to do that too also with. And then getting into if you got Libra in the 11th house, you might be trying to find some reciprocation, love, appreciation, value, or relatability or consideration, pardon me. when it comes into your associations or what you are associated with, or even people who have ghosted you or something like that. So in order to get this done in some way, you have to utilize the first house. So there may be some type of thinking or some idea that you're in personally, or comparing and contrasting who you're sharing your personal space with, that might be blocking you from you being able to, spread your wings to go on amongst with other associations and stuff like that. So there may be some type of personal connection, personal relationship, or some type of personal insecurity, something in your personal space that you need to reevaluate and get out of that cage. And when you have that mental discussion with that person or that object or with yourself, you know what I'm saying? And to know that to let it go so you could fly like a birdie, then for the most part, that's going to pour over into your Venus in the 11th house, transiting right now with Libra. And then for the most part, you're going to get more love, appreciation, value, fairness, or balance when it comes to what associations you are associated with and the things that you're doing as far as receiving public gains or how you're received by the public. You may be received in a more open way, where once upon a time you were seen as people blocking things for you. Now people are open to whatever you're trying to present. And then let's say you got Libra in the 12th house. Now you might be an individual right now that you're looking for love, appreciation, value, relatability, or compromising when it comes to your dreams, when it comes to your fantasies. You might even want to get supported when it comes to your delusions and stuff like that. But you need to figure out that they're delusions so you can find something to actually love and appreciate that person telling you it's a delusion, or whatever that scenario and situation and how it played out. Now, in order to get this done, you might have to pay attention to Mercury and Sagittarius in the second house. So for the most part, you might have to put yourself into a situation where the way you think, communicate, or you might need to get out some type of cage when it comes to your values, what you have to offer to the world, who you value. Somebody that you value is smothering you. Some creative gift or talent that you was planting seeds in to build your self-esteem is no longer useful and is not boosting you up. You're still feeling down to a certain degree. So when you get these ideas and things and comparing and contrasting going on, where you can start to feel like, okay, this person I value is actually not valuing me the same, so this is a cage. Let me start communicating with other people that's into the same thing I'm into, so I can start planting better seeds into my self-esteem or get some talents. Once you start to get all that correlated and constructed with that second house and Mercury and Sagittarius, it's going to pour over into the 12th house, and it's going to allow you to manifest more love, appreciation, value, relatability, and compromising for your dreams. Because the people you probably wasn't valuing you back when it came to your dreams, and they had you valuing them towards stuff you ain't care about, and they wasn't valuing you towards the things you actually care about. So going through those type of ups and downs with Mercury and you're thinking in the second house will allow you to put yourself in a situation where you're either open to others or changing the minds of the individuals you're currently valuing and making them start to value more of your dreams, imaginations, and your fantasies. And that's going to be a manifestation of you receiving more love, appreciation, value, relatability, and compromising in that Libra 12th house. Damn. Real stuff. Somebody, every time I get in the houses, that's how I know I always get new people. It don't matter if you got overlapping houses. The house it would have been. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you got overlapping houses, so you got 2 Capricorn houses, so you don't got the Sagittarius house, or you got 2 Scorpio houses, and you don't got the Sagittarius house. The house Sagittarius would have been in. So just look at it like you're dealing with the same energy, but it's just modified as the overlapping sign. That's it. So let's say you got, you would have had Libra, you would have had Libra in the 9th house, but you got overlapping houses. So let's say you got Scorpio, Virgo in the 9th house, right? Libra still would have been in the 9th house. So you're going through the same thing, but it just got another sign there. That's it. So you're going through it in that way, but you're still going through the same thing. So you still want to experience love. So for an example, if you ain't got Libra there, you got Virgo there in that 9th house, you still want to experience love and appreciation and value and reciprocation, because that's in the sky regardless. You came down here as a demon, wanting your own world, and brought a lot of stuff from the previous lifetime. So you got a miscellaneous house. So it ain't got nothing to do with that as above, so below. But at the same time, it's still how it play out. Now, as above is just a transit. So it's still there. You got overlapping houses. You're confused a little bit. It's getting filtered through another alignment. So you're still trying to experience love, appreciation, value, and relatability in that 9th house, but just not in a Libra way. You're trying to do it in a Virgo way. So you're trying to experience love, appreciation, value, relatability in the ninth house when it comes to not wanting to worry so much about these things, not wanting to be, you know what I'm saying? Where another person probably got Libra there, they want to experience love, appreciation, value, relatability in a Libra way. You know what I'm saying? In a fair way, in a balanced way when it comes to traveling. But if you got Virgo there, you want love, appreciation, value, relatability when it comes to traveling, and so you don't have to worry. Or you might only want to travel so it can help your health. You might want to go somewhere, a new place to get that new vitamin or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Or if it's Scorpio overlapping house, you might want love, still the ninth house, you still want love, appreciation, value, relatability there, but it's just filtered through Scorpio. You might, through the ninth house, you might want to travel for that love, and whatever that love is that you're traveling for, it might got something to do with sex or something like that, because you want to fuck. You know what I'm saying? Scorpio there. Yeah, but other than that, that's the same thing. It's all the same thing. Don't get confused. But shout out to all the new people on the channel. So it's like woulda, coulda been records like what's homeboy name? Drew C. It's still there. It's just you seeing it through a different lens, but you're dealing with the same energy, same character, different pattern. Your pattern more holistic than someone else. You fell short, brought a lot of previous lifetimes. So you got to deal with two things, two areas of your life got the same energy. So you then like had a whole bunch of regret in the previous lifetime, all the way to the point that it didn't poured over. You didn't put so much energy into that in the previous lifetime. Two areas of your life, you got the same problem. You got the same problem in two areas of your life. Lord Jesus Christ. That goes with a lot of people who got a lot of retrogrades and all this stuff. But yeah, I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Let me go ahead and get back to work and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I'm about to go ahead and build these social media pages. I gotta because I was finishing up readings and stuff. Now I can go ahead and get that start editing stuff. But yeah, I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Y'all stay spiritually protected. We probably do an open panel later on. Get into some deep esoteric stuff. You know what I'm saying? About how to transmute and take over the whole solar system. Do something. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Death to trolls.